Hi everyone, Kidney Beans here. I would like to start off I always scratch my nose before a video or while I'm doing a video. I would like to, let me just first invite some peeps, inviting as many as I can. Sometimes, in this disease you encounter, and when I say disease, I mean end-stage renal disease specifically, because that's what I relate to the most, and I'm going to talk about it. But I want to say this. Oftentimes, we get into this funk, and we're like, oh, life sucks. Nobody wants to be on dialysis. Very true. But I just want to take some time out to say that, sometimes, on a positive note, we connect with some really amazing people. And when I say people, I mean some technicians and some nurses that really actually care for us. And I know we always, the saying goes, you talk about all your bad experiences the most because they're the easiest to remember. When you're hurt, you're hurt. When you're treated wrong, you remember that. And you want to tell everyone, because that emotion, that anger, and that frustration is easy to express, especially in the heat of the moment. But when you're treated nice and things are going great, we just we just glide in and, all right, try and invite as many people as I like till my finger is tired of pushing invite. All right. So I just wanted to say that sometimes we glide through and we don't give the recognition to the people that are awesome. And then the whole cluster of that particular profession gets lumped into, they suck. And I've had some good experiences. I've had some bad experiences. But it's not all bad. It's not all been bad. Those of you warriors who are on dialysis or in transplant, either transplant transition, or you have been living with the transplant, or you are about to go through it. We're going to be in the face of many, many different healthcare providers. And I just want you to know that there's 99% of the time people go into that profession because they want to be in it. Now, I don't want to say 99. Let's say 70. I'll give it a good 70. Hi. I'm waving. I'm just going to give waves today if I can when I look down. Thank you for joining me and thank you for listening. But, like I said, you're going to come into contact with many different healthcare providers, and you are going to have good and bad experiences. I really hope you only have good, but I know that's not a reality. That's not perfect. It's not a perfect world. So, if you do find one or two or three, or even just only one, tell them you appreciate them, and don't forget, that they are caring for you like their own, or, they could be home with their families, but they're not. They're here with you. Every time I have a hospital visit, it's always humbling, and it's always eye-opening to the care you get. When you're in a hospital, it can be a bad thing. But let's not forget to be grateful and thankful and kind back to those that are being kind to us in the midst of our adversity and our sickness and in our time when we feel the most vulnerable. They're there. I had some really good experiences throughout the years, and more recently, I have had some really great people around me, and I just want to say thank you to them and recognize them. There are some techs that touch you, I don't even like to use that word, touch, I guess, or they reach you in a connection that is amazing throughout this, incurable chronic illness that we have. So just be grateful and remember to reach out to them. If you can do something nice, do it. But we have to be grateful for those things because they could be home. They don't have to be with us. They don't have to be caring for us. And, I always say I have a higher respect for nurses typically until I had renal disease and met the nurses that don't give a shit. And I've definitely met quite a few of them. But then I've met some really amazing ones. So I don't want to focus on that bad. And I encourage you not to because, life goes on. And those fart heads that whatever chip they have on their shoulder, they don't deserve your energy anyway. So don't give it to them. You don't have to give them your energy. And honestly, in this disease, you don't have energy to spare. You don't have negative energy. Definitely don't have negative energy to spare. So why spare it? And yes, I'm in the hospital, folks. I'm pretty sure you all can see that. But, that comes with the territory of this disease and what we all go through. So, the hospital is like, sometimes it becomes a second home. And you have to, like I said, embrace the great energy. Don't give the bad energy your energy. You don't have it to spare. You don't. You need everything that you have to fight what you're fighting because you're a warrior. They don't call us warriors for nothing. And I just wanted to point that out because sometimes even myself, I find that when I'm upset or feeling defeated, it's like I will allow it to consume me. And I don't think I'm alone in that feeling. I think all of us go through that, especially when, you're fighting something that there's really no cure for, that they promote. Let's say that they promote, because they basically tell you that this is it. You have to do it or you're going to die. You have to deal with it for the rest of your life. Accept it. It is what it is. Transplant's the only way. Or there's people who can never have a transplant for whatever reason that be. Or your underlying health concerns and things like that, and I'm happy for those who can have a transplant, but I'm also empathetic and I can relate to those who feel like there's no way they're getting out of this and they have to just keep going. Don't devote your energy to that. Do not devote your energy to the fact that there's no medical promoted way to fix the situation. Don't promote it. Don't give it up. But if you do come across a technician or a nurse that you like or that has given you a little bit more of a more pleasant experience, don't be afraid to tell them thank you. Don't hesitate to tell them you appreciate them. Appreciate them because their field is very necessary. We need nurses. There's actually a shortage of nurses in the United States. In a lot of places, they're just short-handed. They're short-staffed. Then there goes that patient ratio. It's not the same in a dialysis center. Yes, I know. Dialysis centers are ran like a business in most cases. But people are still people, and people make the place. So if a person sticks out to you and makes sure that you're comfortable, let them know that. Because you don't have energy to waste on negative energy. It's a fact that negative energy is absolutely toxic. Okay? It can consume you. It can kill you. In more ways than one. So don't waste that energy. Recognize, don't be afraid to say thank you and be nice, because I've seen and heard many horror stories of some of the things that these nurses and techs go through. Every patient's not a great patient, and every patient's not so patient at all, but they're still there doing their job, and they're still human. And if I'm going to talk about all the time about humanity and how humanity has been taken out of a place, I have to also reflect to myself. And we have to reflect to ourselves and say, hey, are we being the change we want to see in the world? Are we being a patient that is conducive to the care that we want from others? You know, this disease can be quite debilitating on your soul. Not only your soul, but your feelings in life, your soul. And we have to be that change. And if we're going to be that change, when we want to talk about humanity and how it's not there, or we feel like, if you can complain, you have to think of a solution. And I think that when we, make sure I get my waves, when we take a step back and try to reflect on ourselves, and we realize that there's caretakers that are taking great care of us, and they are putting themselves last and not having lunch breaks, and every bell that we ring, they're running to it, and even on a machine. Even though I'm in the worst dialysis center I will say that I've ever been to in my entire existence, I will not give that place a single star, especially in the one I'm at right now. This is the one I'm at right now I'm talking about, guys. But I will tell you that when I have been in the better centers, or the centers where the people it was a better energy, let's put it that way, like I said, they're putting themselves last. They're stopping everything to make sure that you're fine. Yeah, they're getting paid, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, they don't have to be there. They don't have to care so much. And when they stop caring, that's when you have centers like the shithole that I'm in, which I plan on transferring from as soon as I get out of this hospital. When you have a great center, when you have one that's not so great, when you have those bad people, it's because that humanity part has been taken out. But if you do have the ability to, and guys, give me some hearts and some likes and some stuff. I don't know, whatever you can give me, I'll take it, please. Let me know that you're following this message, that you feel this message. If there's something that I'm not saying, if there's something that you feel should be implemented within my message, I'm all open for it, because that's the point. That's my point. It's my purpose. I'm not here to just speak. I'm here to hear you. I'm here to expose the things and say the things that I feel need to be exposed, and I'm unfiltering it. But I'm also want to say that if you're going to spread a message of humanity is missing, then we have to also consider the fact that, are we being humane as we could be? Are we being as kind as we could be in our situation? And how much benefit you'll have from that. Because when you spend too much energy that we as warriors don't have, being angry and sad about it, we're not doing ourselves any justice. You do yourself justice when you try your best to not focus on those things. Don't give your energy to that. And when you see something great or something good and something's working out, we got to take advantage of that, because that's going to be conducive to your healing. And I've definitely can attest to that. When I stop and I reflect and I look, make sure I waved to everybody. When I stop and I reflect and I wait and I wave, I'm so silly. When I stop and I reflect and I take that step back for myself, I find that my process of healing is just a little bit easier. And, I've spoken on this before, how there's very little hope spread with this disease. There's very little hope spread through the medical vicinity of it, as far as doctors coming in saying, hey, we're looking for a cure. Oh, wait a minute. I got somebody coming in. Oh. My doctor? Yeah. Okay. My doctor's here, so I got to go. I love you all, and I'll be back. I will be back.